welcome to another video tutorial of GRE Quant. In this video tutorial, we are going to be discussing about ratios in more detail. So let us begin with our today's lesson. Let's first refresh our minds with the subtopic on ratios, that is portioning into ratios, the questions of which we have already done in the first part of the video tutorial on ratios. Now, the step-by-step process that we follow when we come across questions related to portioning is very simple. We first add the terms in the ratio, that is, let's suppose we have three ratios, that is 2 to 4 to 9, and we multiply each one of the ratios with x. So if we have 2x plus 4x plus 9x, this is going to be equal to 15x. Now our second step should be to divide the total quantity into equal parts. That is, if let's suppose the quantity is equal to 60, we're going to divide it by 15, right? 15 is the sum of the ratios, right? And our answer is going to be 4, like 60 divided by 15 is equal to 4. Now, you see, we are supposed to multiply the A equal parts into the target ratio. That is, 2 is going to be multiplied by 4, 4 is going to be multiplied by 4, and 9 is also going to be multiplied by 4. So what we're going to get as our ratio, the final ratio is going to be like 8 to 16 to 36, which is also equal to 60. This means the total is divided into 8, 16 and 36 parts, right? You see, we can easily find the value of our target ratio by following very simple steps. We will now be discussing about ratios and rates with the help of a few examples to understand this concept very well. Now, our first question says that if Liam is driving at a rate of 50 miles per hour, how many hours will it take him to drive 120 miles? In other words, it says for every 50 miles driven, 1 hour elapses. Now, in order to put this statement into an equation form, what we're going to do is we're going to divide miles by hours, and we would equate it with the values that have already been given in this statement, in the question, right? So miles over hours is equal to 50 over 1, right? And we have been given the value of miles, which is 120, so we're going to put it in the equation. So 120 divided by hours is equal to 50 over 1. When we cross multiply it, we're going to get 50h is equal to 120, and our answer would be 2 by 5 hours. And if you want to convert it into minutes, don't be scared of it. It's very easy. We just need to, multiply the fraction with 60, that is 60 minutes, right? So what we're going to get is 24 minutes. So our answer would be 2 hours and 24 minutes. So you're going to see if it's a multiple choice question and it has the question, the answer in fractional form, so you don't need to, solve for the minutes, right? Okay, let's move on to another question. Our next question says that if a hummingbird heart beats 90 times in 4.5 seconds, how many times does it beat in 1 minute? The question is very simple. It has just a little twist, and that is to measure the number of heartbeats in 1 minute, right? And we've already been given the number of heartbeats in 4.5 seconds. So we're going to divide heartbeats by seconds, which is equal to 90 over 4.5. Now this is our equation, and we're going to build on our answer following the same equation, right? Okay. Now if we cross multiply it, we're going to get 4.5 heartbeats is equal to 90 seconds, and this means that Now, the number of heartbeats is equal to 90 over 4.5, but they're asking us to measure the number of heartbeats in 1 minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this 90 over 4.5 with 60, and our answer is going to be 1200 heartbeats per minute, right? Very simple question. We're just going to convert it into a minute, and that's about it all, right? Okay, this question says that if a certain meteor travels at a speed of 720,000 kilometers per hour, what is its speed in kilometers per second? Now this question is very much similar to the question we've already done in our last slide. The only difference is that over here in this question we're going to convert hours into seconds. And how we're going to convert it? We already know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So 1 hour is equal to 60 into 60, which is equal to 3600 seconds. So our question is simply saying that for every 720,000 kilometers, 3600 seconds elapse, right? So to convert it into an equation, we're going to divide kilometers by seconds, which is equal to 720,000 divided by 3600, and we're going to get 200 kilometers per second as our answer. Simple, right? We will now discuss on how to combine ratios, and this can be understood with the help of a question that says that in a certain bookstore the ratio of fiction to non-fiction books is 5:2 and the ratio of non-fiction books to pencils is 3:4. If there are 60 fiction books, how many pencils are there? Now this question requires some rough work in order to fully understand the concept of combining ratios. If you look at the left side of the slide, you will see that the ratios of fiction to non-fiction to pencils are mentioned. That is, the ratio of fiction to non-fiction is 5:2 and that of non-fiction to pencils is 3:4. We are simply going to equate the ratios, and that we can do by equating the ratios of non-fiction books. Now, the important thing to note here is that whichever number we are going to multiply the ratio of non-fiction books with, we are going to multiply the same number with the ratio that the non-fiction books is in. For example, you see fiction to non-fiction is in the ratio of 5:2. So if we are multiplying the non-fiction ratio by 3, we're going to multiply the ratio of fiction by 3 as well, right? And same goes for non-fiction to pencil ratio as well, which is like 3:4 is going to be multiplied by 2, right? So what we're going to get is we're going to get the same ratio for non-fiction books, that is 6, and our combined ratio is going to be 15 to 6 to 8, right? That is, fiction to non-fiction to pencils is in the ratio 15 to 6 to 8. Now fiction over pencils is equal to 15 over 8. The number of fiction books is already mentioned in the question, that is 60. So 60 divided by pencils is equal to 15 over 8. That is the ratio of fiction to pencils, right? And if we cross multiply it, we're going to get 32 as our answer. That is the number of pencils. Now this question can also be solved as fiction over non-fiction is equal to 5/2. That is the ratio of fiction to non-fiction books. Okay, then 60 over non-fiction is equal to 5/2. If we cross multiply it, we're going to get the number of non-fiction books, that is 24. And if we divide 24 by the number of pencils, we're going to, and like in equation form, we have non-fiction over pencils equal to 3/4. So if we replace the non-fiction by its number, we're going to get 24 over b, which is equal to 3/4, and we're going to get the same answer, that is 32. right? Now for combining ratios, we can adopt two strategies. Our strategy number one is to find equivalent ratios until there are matching terms and then combine, right? And our strategy number two is that solve for one ratio and apply the results to the other ratio. Now both strategies have been applied in the question that we have solved in our last slide, right? Let us understand the last question of our lesson, which says that a recipe calls for mixing cake batter containing flour, sugar and milk in the ratio 2 to 3 to 5. If we use 6 more cups of sugar than we do flour, how many cups of milk do we use? Now this is not an easy question because it requires logic. And every question requires logic, but this requires more logic than the other questions that we've discussed in our last slides. Now, the ratio of flour to sugar to milk is 2 to 3 to 5, which can be rewritten as 2x to 3x to 5x. Now, if you see the question, it says that if we use 6 more cups of sugar than we do flour. So what we can do is we can subtract milk from sugar, right? In order to equate it with 6 cups of sugar. So we have sugar as 3x and milk as 2x. So 3x minus 2x is equal to 6, which gives us the value of x, which is 6 cups. So x is basically 6 cups, and we have to find out the number of cups of milk that we use, which is, if x is equal to 6, then milk is going to be 5 into 6, which is equal to 30 cups, right? So a very complicated question turning out to be very simple, right? So this is how the questions are in GRE Quant. They look difficult, but they're very easy to solve. With this, we come to the end of our second video tutorial on ratios. In the coming days, I will be uploading more video tutorials on the same topic. Please stay tuned, keep your spirits high, stay positive, and best of luck to you. Thank you.